Alright, hello all, welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So I did just, at the time I'm, recording this, just get done talking about my sort of final 10th anniversary predictions or whatever. Uh, and this is what it looks like. I did explain all my reasoning very, very in depth there. I was originally going to make this a part of the same video, but I realized it actually I was yapping for a bit to sort of explain my entire thought process. But if you want to learn more about that, go watch there. Uh, but that being said, I would like to discuss something else in this one, and that would be related to the sort of banner stuff. Now, there is something missing here, and this is what I'm referring to of the tabs up here, is the Memorial Dragonstone. As far as I know, they did take that out of the data, so I actually can't like pull that up. But we do know it is a part of 10th anniversary. It's not like an accident, for worldwide that slipped in. We do know it's a part of 10th anniversary because it had this sort of 10th anniversary like text over it or whatever it was exactly. So that is coming at some point. They're trying to hide it clearly. They realized they messed up when they put Voldemort, his art and his Dokkan Fest medal in the sort of data. So that being said, I would like to discuss this though. So we take a look at the banners. I mean, obviously this has been out for a couple days now, and I mean, I, I'm saving up some more before I get to more summoning. But I did not get treated the best from the banners. But I also could have been, I guess, but I also could have been treated worse. But I mean, we look at this lineup here. We can actually right now determine what the sort of part 2 banners are going to look like. And what I mean there, I mean, I guess I should probably maybe have pulled something up. But I can just, sort of talk through this. This is obviously going to be Int Broly. This is obviously going to be Strength Beast. This is obviously going to be Merge Zamasu. Obviously going to be the GT Spirit Bomb. Obviously going to be the LR Gods. Obviously going to be Full Power Frieza. Obviously going to be Yoi Goku. Obviously going to be Fizbu Tanks. So that's what the Part 2 Dokkan Fest banner is going to look like. As for the Carnival banner, I mean, we also do know these two slots for the Dokkan Fest. Voldemort and Nagina is, Snake. Uh, so we do know that. But I guess there is still some speculation about this. I did show earlier, I do think it's going to be a Carnival Gohan to fit the family theme and a sort of Orange Piccolo to fit the Rivals theme. Once again, I did explain my thoughts very, very in depth in the other video, but I am pretty confident in that sort of selection. We shall see though. But that being said, I mean, here, this is obviously Tech Broly, Gogeta Blue, Future Gohan, the sort of Dragon Ball Z opening Goku, Tech sort of Bird Q, Strength Kaioken Goku. This is going to be the Vegeta and Goku sort of revive unit. This could be several slots technically, but I do think that's probably going to be like Tech Easy Broly, Yellow Coin LR. I do think that's what we'll see, but I guess it could be wrong. I mean, that slot we can't fully predict. But that being said, I mean, the banners in both parts are just like fucking insane, right? I mean, that's right. We don't need to. There's no two ways to slice it. These are very insane banners, especially because Easy A, still Easy A last year still really good. Don't need to talk about this character. And I mean, on the Dokkan Fest banner, these two slots are still going to be the Easy A's, right? I mean, we have an Easy A upcoming here in both slots, right? I mean, these are very, very, very good banners. Now that being said, I would like to talk about this. Now, I guess this is sort of more so meant as advice for like your average free-to-play player. And you know, at the end of the day, you do what you want with your currency. I'm not gonna be like, you know, don't summon or summon on this first. Like, I'm not here to command anyone to do whatever, right? I mean, you do what you want. I'm just trying to give you the best information to make the best decision possible. Now that being said, I mean the Port 1 banners are up for 14 days. We should find out in roughly 9 days for sure what the Part 2 LRs are. I mean, once again, we do have a 99% idea of what they're going to be. It's just maybe some variation in between like the Android Celestial Saga or Super Slots. But I mean, we're pretty. It's very very limited what it can be at this point. Now that all being said, I mean Blue Evolution Vegeta is probably he's the weakest by far. But he's still really good, and I would say he's still really worth having, and especially because like Super Saiyan 4 Goku is so good. It is definitely, and I mean you could probably be missing a lot of stuff on this banner. I mean this guy's about to EZA. They're still really good. He's really good. He's probably going to EZA later this year. He's still really good. Like this is a really really good banner still. Now, that being said, what I would actually say, if you're like a whale or something, this doesn't really matter. But I mean, free to play players only have a certain amount of stones they can gather up. And what I would say to them is this: you should go like all out in this first part. I mean, that's my plan. I'm saving up more stones so I can, do more multis instead of one. All right, cut away. One. All right, cut away. So I'm saving up to like 450 or so before I jump back in. But that being said, I mean, there's the pity coins. You can transfer them between. So say you summon on Vegeta's banner, you're like me, you get 300 coins by the time you actually pull them. I mean, you only need 200 more coins. That's worth 1,000 stones roughly. But I mean, every sort of rainbow dupe you pull, that's from the Dragon Soul mochi. It's worth 3 coins, so it very does cut down a lot. So I mean, someone like me who only needs 200 more coins, I'm guaranteed to get the pity. There's no reason for me to not summon all out on the Carnival banner here. I do think that, I mean, these are also just characters I really like in general. But obviously, like Voldemort, who's coming, is probably going to be like the second or first best unit in the game. It doesn't really matter. I don't see them making him significantly better or significantly worse than Vegito. I don't think either would be healthy for the game. So it's going to be slightly weaker or slightly stronger. That's it, right? Just hard stop, that's it. Slightly weaker, slightly better. Now that being said, what I would say is the best sort of thing you can do is summon all out on the Part 1 banner. Part 1 banners, I guess. Now, obviously, Vegito is more important. Get these guys, and by the time you get there, I mean, even if you're not at pity as soon as Part 2 drops, you should likely, throughout the entire anniversary, get enough stones, as long as you're not spending them stupidly, to be able to reach pity on one of the banners, And what I would say there, I mean, even though the Part 2 banner is obviously going to be pretty good for Voldemort, I would say that it would make... And in fact, you can summon on him and just use the sort of pity as a, grace landing spot or whatever. But what I'm trying to... a long way of explaining here. I would say, in my opinion, it makes more sense to wait until Part 3 to summon on the Carnival banner, no matter what the character choices are, because we're going to have this. This is a 100 ticket multi that you could just do for free once you collect all the tickets. And in that multi, I mean, we take a look at last year. I don't actually have this pulled up. You know what? I could No, I would only even have like the text highlighted. I did check this yesterday on my own video. Um, it was a 77 unit summon for the 9th anniversary. But the last 7 characters were guaranteed SSRs. Uh, Either this year, I think they're going to do like 10 guaranteed SSRs at the end, or it's going to be like 3 featured SSRs guaranteed at the end. It's going to be something like that. But I mean, it's a 100 unit multi. You know, it's worth 10 multis. Now, can you get shafted in that? 100%. I mean, I would say last year, you know, I didn't get too lucky in mine. I mean, I got stuff I could use, but I, I didn't get too lucky. But I would say it makes more sense to, like, if you want to go summon, like, how do I? It makes more sense to summon on a banner where you have the chance to get 2 characters that are brand new, instead of 1. Now, say for example, I mean, you're summoning right on the on the banner. You know, you have your rainbow ticket multi, and you summon on LR Voldemort. Now, how high would it be? You know, you summon, you get your 22nd slot, you get Voldemort, and your 87th slot, you get Voldemort. That's really cool. Automatically, you have him with 1 dupe. I mean, that's definitely really good, really strong, whatever. But, you know, counterpoint, is it better to get, 1 unit with a dupe, or potentially, and obviously this is all potential, it's RNG, whatever, or, 2 brand new units, 2 Carnival LRs. I mean, each 55%, but, you do have the chance to get 2 brand new 220% 4-key sort of leaders in 1 multi, 1 giant multi, as opposed to just getting the same character twice. Now, that same character is going to be really, really, really strong, but just account-wise, collection-wise, strength-wise, whatever, I think you do get the most value if you do summon here. And I don't know, I'm just explaining all this because I do think it's, I mean, once again, spend how you want, but I do think it makes the most sense for your resources to just go all out here, try and collect what you can. And by the time part 2 drops, I mean, even going into part 3, you will get enough. I mean, you can come back, and as long as you're not like converting them to like fucking Dokkan Fest or regular Dokkan Fest or regular Carnival coins, I mean, you can come back and hit me with a gotcha, if I'm wrong about this. Like, hey, you said we'd guaranteed get pity. I guess it also, like, I did come into the anniversary with 1,000 stones right at the start, and I'm at 300 coins. But, like, that definitely helps my pity amount. And I guess, to be fair, if you are a newer player, you're not going to get as many, or maybe, like, even any sort of duplicate coins, which is definitely a big help. I mean, I got, 60, 70 some odd duplicate coins, whatever it was. So, I mean, that definitely does play a huge deal in being able to have enough for pity. But for the most part, I mean, even if you are a free player, though, a brand new player, you should be able, there are enough stones throughout the entire game that you will be able to collect to hit pity. Either way, unless they go really, really stingy, which it looks like they're not doing, it looks like they're being very, very generous. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to hit pity. So, like, being able to get all the part 1 characters, right? Just summon all in. You don't need to, get them with dupes or whatever. Right? Just try and get like a 55% of each at least, and then come part 2. I mean, you can summon on Voldemort, right? And just, if you don't get him, you can pity him. But even, let's say you do get him, I would still say, save in that scenario, you do get him. I would still wait on summoning on the Carnival banner. And save your pity until you get that rainbow summon and do it on the Carnival banner. once again, use your resources how you want, but they only give out a certain amount. Obviously, they do want you to spend money. It's a gacha game. Just is what it is. It just makes the most sense resource-wise, in my opinion, to sort of go through like that. Wait to summon on the Carnival banner until part 3. You know, it's not like you're guaranteed, obviously, with the Rainbow Ticket multi to get one of the brand new units. But I mean, I'd say it's a pretty decent chance. I mean, it's 100 characters, and there's probably gonna, there's gonna be guaranteed SSRs or like featured at the end of this multi. So I mean, it's going to be a very, very good multi. You do have a pretty good chance of, well, a pretty decent chance, I'd say overall, of getting, one of these new characters in it. I mean, you might not, but at the same time, I mean, you could just, if you've summoned all on here, you have enough pity coins, or if you don't, by part 2, you summon on Voldemort, you get enough pity coins, hold out, use your rainbow tickets in part 3, hold the pity coins, hold out on something on the carnival until part 3, drop your rainbow ticket multi there. If you don't get anyone, then start summoning with the dragon stones, or you could also, you say you don't want both, you only want one, use your pity coins there. I'm just trying to, once again, this is just my opinion, use your resources how you want, but I'm a free-to-play player currently. I wasn't like 2023 Dokkan, but 2024 Dokkan I was. Every year before 2023 Dokkan I was. So that is my plan. Trying to get everyone I can in part 1. Then targeting Voldemort. And then I will summon on the carnival after, in part 3. And by the way, I do think it's worth noting, with part 1, it's going to be like a 2.5 whatever week, wait for the sort of part 2 banners. From part 2 to part 3, I mean, it's only a week-long wait, right? You don't need to wait forever, right, for this stuff. It's just going to be a week-long wait at that point. So it's not like you're going to be even waiting forever to summon on that carnival banner. The discounts, rotation, whatever, it's still going to be up. I mean, this lasts, 14 days here. So the discounts are, and that's another thing here. The discounts for this are going to be, they're probably still going to be up. But I mean, they're going to get really low by the time we start getting into part 2. So it just makes more sense to try and get, everyone here while you can, to use your resources most effectively. And then part 2, come in with pity coins and don't use them immediately. Try to get Voldemort. If you don't, you can pity him. If you do, still wait until part 3. Use your rainbow sort of stuff. And see what you get there. If you don't get lucky, start summoning with Dragonstones. And I do think this is important to say, because it's like, okay, well, say I pull LR Voldemort, right? Why shouldn't I just start summoning on the Carnival banner? Why should I wait for the rainbow tickets? And my answer to that would be, if you do get really lucky with the rainbow ticket multi. I mean, would you have rather, summon on the carnival banner, you get one character, but you're still missing a character, and then you summon with the rainbow ticket multi, and then it's like, well, now I'm getting 79% on LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but maybe I would have rather used more summons on the Dokkan Fest banner. I don't know if I'm trying my best to keep saying this in different ways, because I'm trying to get my point across. I hope I am, whatever. Maybe not, but I hope I have. But I mean, those are my sort of thoughts. That's what I'm going to be doing. So do expect at some point I'm going to have another part 1 summon for this specific banner. But once we go into part 2, I'm going to try and summon for Voldemort. And if I, don't get him, I'm going to, pity him, and then for the carnival banner, I'm gonna wait to summon there uh, until you know I have the rainbow tickets. And in fact, it might even be worth once you get into part two, just don't summon at all. And then once you have the rainbow ticket, I mean, you could be gathering stones in that sort of waiting period. Once you get there, you can summon on uh, Voldemort. Then you can use the rainbow ticket out there, and depending on who you don't get, depending on who you want more, you can use the pity on one of those characters. But yeah, I hope I've explained my thoughts good enough, clear enough, whatever. I don't. I think I have, at least. I mean, you can disagree about the sort of opinion or whatever. I mean, that's once again, I'm not telling you what to do, right? I'm just giving you. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. So that all being said, I did want to touch on one more thing here very briefly. Currently, we do not have any new stages to these red zones. I mean, there's some pretty difficult fights in these. They're going to be adding more in stages in every part. Like, we haven't got the part 1 fights yet. I do think it's pretty likely we will see new stages for these next week, where I do think is the landing spot we will see for EZA, uh, Kaioken Goku, and Grade 8 Vegeta. And that being said, I mean, these fights, I mean, these are the countdown fights. And, I mean, right now, we're just when they came out, they were somewhat difficult though. I mean, if you have Vegito, it's just like they can't do anything to you. I didn't think before we were, but I do think by the end of Anniversary we could definitely see some sort of 7th year, uh, you know, power creep levels. Which for those of you who aren't around who don't really remember, I mean, it power crept like 99% of the game. I don't know if we're gonna quite see that, but it's probably gonna be vaguely near that level. Just judging by the difficulty here, as well as, you know, looking at, um, how powerful Vegito is. I mean, they're not just going to. By the time we end part 3, at the very least, they're not just going to have these characters still be just absolutely untouchable. They'll still be the strongest in the game. But I mean, they do want to make these fights actually difficult to give you a reason to summon. I do think it's going to probably be a scenario like where it's really hard without the characters, but it's still difficult with them. Well, I don't. I mean, obviously, we don't know what everything's going to look like, but I just. And also, I mean, when the worldwide download celebration came out, I mean, all those fights were piss easy. We all complained. That survey came out. I would say, during that time, I saw a lot of sort of quote unquote veteran players such as myself. Like, yeah, on that survey, be like, yeah, these were way too easy. We want more difficulty. So I do think they're going to take that into heart. Even potentially by part 2, we're going to see some really difficulty fights, I think. But just keep that in mind. I mean, obviously, getting the Dokkan Fest is going to be the most important part um, during this anniversary. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about here. I think my thoughts have come across as clear as I wanted them to. I hope they have. I guess we shall see. But I mean that'll do it here. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Take care.